All right, coming up here at Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies, we're going to be speaking with Mumbi Dunjwah, the owner of Naturaz. We're going to be discussing with her product line, what sells best, and why does she create Naturaz? And why is it that her focus on curly, coily hair is going to be so important for this interview? We look forward to speaking with her, and we will see you when we return after these messages.
I got so tired sitting deeply in silence about the atrocities of our hair. Put together business model and prayed that every customer receives full care. Packed our bags and said sell toward trend to build a store we didn't quite understand. 'Cause I love my people. If I had $1 billion right now, I'd build the biggest black hole with my hair.
All right, we are back here with Mumbi Dunjwah, who is the owner of Naturaz, and we're very excited about seeing you, Mumbi.
Thank you. Really, really glad to be here. Great to meet you.
Yes, yes.
You have a beautiful store.
Oh, thank you.
I love what you're doing.
Wonderful. And
Yes.
we do this because of people like you. We appreciate people who wake up in the morning, just like anyone else that gets up in the morning, go to work, to create really good products. Awesome. And so we always put folks like you on a pedestal, and which you should.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to get into it because I think your background is different than most of the folks that we've actually interviewed, or some of the other product lines that we have coming in here. Let me just give the audience the heads up. Mumbi Dunjwah, she has an undergraduate degree in chemistry. Her concentration is in nuclear medicine technology. She has her master's degree in information systems management,
Yes.
which is very interesting. And so I want to ask, as far as the background of what you have,
Right.
Does this help in your core values of what you want Naturaz to be, your background and what you've obtained your degrees in?
Yes, yes, it definitely helps in the core values of our company. We are an ingredient conscious product line, and the premise behind creating this is because of damage that I saw around me. The women who had hair loss, children who have alopecia, it all really struck me. And being in both the health, in the science and pharmaceutical industries, I really understood that we needed to produce solutions that were effective,
Sure.
healthy, and safe for people. So my background definitely has been a huge influence in how I have formulated and have created Naturaz.
But what is interesting is that you actually went on 10 years in the pharmaceutical business.
Yes.
Now, that kind of made my ears go, ooh.
Right.
The reason why is that the pharmaceutical industry and what we know it is now,
Right.
I'm a huge proponent of them being kind of like the core factor of many people, not necessarily in the hair world, but medicine in general is something I think most people are saying they don't trust them. What was your experience being in the pharmaceutical world when you're dealing with your hair? Was there something that went off on you that says, I want to change this because this is what's in place?
You know, interestingly, I mean, I have to commend my experience in the pharmaceutical industry. I do understand that there are huge lobbying, interests by pharmaceutical, the pharmaceutical industry in Washington, but just operating inside the company that I worked, one thing that we really valued was about making people feel better and live longer.
Yes.
So there were core values that we upheld, and I truly respected some of the work that we were doing in terms of the drug products that were being released to help people.
Right.
So on the one hand, I believe that pharmaceutical companies do have a place, right? You're talking about acute infections where antibiotics are needed, or a traumatic injury where you need to inject certain drug products, or just diseases like cancer. On the one hand, the industry is doing a great job coming up with great products, but on the other hand, there are some failures all around that to me would have to be addressed, where maybe people, we have had people, maybe doctors overprescribe certain medications. For example, narcotics, which
Right.
now there's
Right.
a huge push because of the addictions that
course.
we are seeing. So that's all very, in a sense, it's people have still gotten affected in
Right.
certain ways,
Okay.
but at the same time, I still believe that the premise and the vision behind what pharmaceutical industry is trying to do is to help people, but somewhere in it all, I think something gets lost in translation, and the recipients of some of the negative byproduct of that is our fellow citizens.
Of course, of course. What I find to be quite interesting is that because of your background, when we look at a lot of the products that are on the market, and you see them on television, they pay loads of money to mainly target African Americans,
Yeah.
primarily because African Americans spend at least over $1 trillion per year. We're really right now at $1 trillion per year.
Right.
And so for us, when we're looking at a product and we're looking at what is good for your hair, what made you say, okay, I don't like this, this is toxic, and I want to change it? Was it because of what you've seen in your experience as far as ingredients are concerned, is why you decided to go vegan, because your product line is a vegan line? I want you to explain to the audience really what does that mean, and how did your background help you to steer you in that direction?
Right. So what really pushed me to formulate Naturaz and to create Naturaz is because around me I saw hair loss. I grew up part of my life in Kenya, East Africa. And and even in Africa itself, you'll be shocked to find that people are struggling with hair.
Wow.
Even in Africa, you'll be shocked to find out that colorism is an issue in a continent where everybody pretty much, 99% looks like you and me.
Yes, yes.
Right? But what happens with women and children is we have this amazing coily hair that grows out of our scalp.
That is correct.
And what happens is that it doesn't tend to stay very moist because of the nature of the coils.
Right.
The oils that we produce from our scalp do not always travel all the way through the length of our hair, so it's hard to manage. So what do people do? Some people, especially growing up, perms were huge relaxers, right? So a lot of women were relaxing their hair. What would happen to the women, and even children, which is appalling, but it was happening.
Yeah, sure.
But what happens is, if you have the wrong stylist, if they leave sodium hydroxide, which is one of the ingredients that's used in perms, there are other very highly alkaline materials used in perms.
Okay.
If it's left too long on your scalp, or on your hair, it completely destroys it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it breaks down the bonds.
Yeah.
That is how you get the straightening of your hair, is because it breaks down the bonds. But it also breaks down the bonds on your scalp.
That is correct.
And if you're unlucky, it gets to your follicle, which is where your hair grows out of, and it destroys it.
Yes.
So I saw a lot of hair loss. I saw hair loss that women were trying to cover up with wigs as well. And I also noticed with braiding, because braiding is another way that we...
It's a big factor here in the store as well.
Yes.
A very big factor.
Really?
Of hair loss, a very big proponent of hair loss. And we
Yes.
tell people this all the time. We,
Right.
Paris Hair Beauty Supplies, we do not sell perms. We don't sell relaxers. We don't sell anything of that nature. And we always say to people, listen, if you want a relaxer, you can go anywhere else. They'll be more than happy to kill you. We're not those people because we understand what relaxers do. Any product that fundamentally restructures your hair to the point where it burns your scalp, and we've seen this time after time, that even men have actually worn relaxers back in the 60s to get their hair straight. And it's been that sort of problem where people have felt that they had to do that because they didn't want to adapt or accept their natural kinky hair.
Right.
And I think that's what the problem is, even to this day.
Yes.
So because we have that problem, and I'm sure you know that, what made you focus on curly, coily hair specifically?
It was because of what I saw, and because I noticed for most of us who had this type of hair, it was hard to deal with it. You know, they want the right products, There wasn't the sort of information exchange that's happening now. We live in the information age. There wasn't the type of information exchange that made it easier for us to figure out, oh my God, that's how you deal with the hair. Is this how you comb the hair? A lot of us would, you'd go to a salon and they would start combing from the bottom of from the roots of your hair. You don't do that with curly, coily hair because the comb gets stuck. Many of us, would try and comb with a wooden comb, and then some of the teeth would break off.
Yeah.
Right?
I've experienced that. Thanks, Mom.
Yes. So many people did, and what happens is that self-hate begins to develop. And what else would people do? Is you'd go out to the stores, and what would you see? You'd see magazines, and they'd have models with straight and
It's true.
lash and
It's true.
this beautiful straight hair that people really wanted. And so it just perpetrated this culture of I've got to change myself. I've got to be like these beautiful women because my hair is not beautiful enough.
As you were doing your research, because I'm sure you've done a lot of research on your product line, particularly because it's vegan, I do want you to explain veganism as far as a product is concerned, because we get a lot of customers who come in, and when we ask them, do you know what natural is? They don't know. They have no clue until they read. And we always inform individuals, please turn the bottle around, look at the ingredients, tell me if you understand this. If you can't, 9 out of 10 times, it really is not a natural product.
Right.
Tell folks what ingredients would consist of vegan? What would make a vegan product line?
Right. So what would make vegan is having no animal byproducts. For example, if we said that Naturaz has got silk amino acids, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
Right.
It's a protein. It probably would be helpful to the hair, but it's an animal byproduct that you'd have in the product line. But vegan really is having plant-based ingredients in a product line. So, for example, having coconut oil that's from your coconut fruit, or having palm oil from your palm fruit, and so on. Aloe vera, those are some of what we put in the line to make sure that it's actually vegan. So we don't use any animal byproducts, and we don't test on animals either.
That is fantastic. I do want to go through the product line with you, so folks would know that Naturaz is actually here at Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies. I remember when I reached out to you, we discussed a little bit about the product line, and I really looked at a lot of the videos on YouTube. And I have to tell you folks, one of the things I really love about what you've done, most of the time you will see a lot of folks on YouTube, it's very light-skinned folks. Huge shout out to our light-skinned African community. Not saying anything about it, but we're really talking about sisters who are as brown and as luscious and beautiful as the rest of the world, but they're not put on a pedestal like everyone else. What I do like, what you've done, is you've had this wonderful brown, I'm talking about dark-skinned girl, she has put on the product line, and the before and after was so fantastic. It just was a glow after she used your product. That I do appreciate, because I do look at things like that, and that was one of the things that really struck me to really approach you and go in and bring the product in.
Oh, great.
So yeah, that's very good. So what are some of the things that your customers have been saying about your products? I mean, some of the things that benefited their hair, so that the audience will know what they can expect from your products.
Yeah, again, going back to even your question about, vegan, and even before that, making product for very coily hair, the target for us was really to reach out to people that had the coiliest of the coiliest hair. My daughter is a mix of my genes and my husband's genes. Now, my husband's hair is the tiniest, most amazing coil when it does grow out of his head, he combs it out. But she has inherited somewhere in between, and her coils are really, really tiny. So this product line was created to really help people that have the tiniest of coils by infusing moisture, and also making it last in the hair. So that's what I really used my background to research. What are we going to put together in a product line, in a bottle, that when you put it in your hair, it actually infuses moisture, penetrates the hair strand, and actually makes it soft, gets that moisture to last,
Yes.
so that the hair can actually be manageable.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's really what we focused on for this product line. Now, people have come back in terms of the feedback we've gotten, and one of the latest bits of feedback that really not even surprised me really, was this woman who said she has used 75 products so far in her life. And this is the only product that delivers the level of moisture
Wow.
that she's been looking for.
Okay.
A lot of people repeatedly have come back to us and said, you know what? This product delivers lasting moisture.
Wow.
And that's, some might say, you know what? My hair held moisture for 8 days.
Okay.
This has never happened. And this is feedback from people. This is not stuff I'm making up.
Of course.
It always shocks me in a really awesome way,
Okay.
because some of it even exceeds my expectations for the product, and it teaches me more about the product and what it's doing for people. And a lot of the people who come back and say that have got pretty coily hair as well.
Very coily
Yes.
hair. All right, folks, we're here talking to Mumbi Dunjwah for Naturaz. She's the owner of Naturaz, and we're talking to her about her product line that actually sits here at Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies. And we are going to discuss now your products and what it does for the hair. And I personally, I'm going to let you guys know, personally, the moisturizer, because I have locks and I know that it's safe to use on locks, because I'm a huge supporter of locks. I love locks. I want people's locks to look nice and clean, and and we get people in here whose locks are falling out of their heads, and it's not healthy. And we've got
Yes.
a lot of issues going on out there. So
Right.
the moisturizer, I want you to describe, because we're going to start from the left to the right, in regards to your Hydrating Mist moisturizer.
Okay.
What
okay.
are your ingredients? What is it? How does it benefit the hair?
Okay, first of all, you have beautiful locks.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
Donna's locks, by the way. And seriously, I love it. And even the way you've done them, I wore my hair natural when it was not popular. I wore my hair when in that state when people would tell me, Mumbi, you have to perm your hair.
Wow.
Or when I'd walk into a salon and they would say, no, it's just too much. This is virgin hair. It's going to take us too long. But I just wanted to say that I'm glad I stuck with it, and I'm glad you've stuck with yours. 'Cause
Yes.
it looks beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sticking with it until the day I take my last breath.
There you go.
Yes.
So the rehydrating mist is a very light rehydrator for your hair. It is made with very few ingredients, because one of the things we've done with Naturaz is we have used very few ingredients, so that you avoid allergies and
Yeah.
things like that. The other thing is, if you see 30 plus ingredients in a bottle, what are you putting on your head, right? So this keeps things very simple, but it's deeply moisturizing and hydrating for the hair.
And this could be used every day. If
It can be used every day, especially in the winter.
Okay.
It's really, really helpful,
Okay.
and you can spray it every day. If you have a little child,
Yes.
you can spray it on their hair absolutely every day. It is a great detangling product. A lot of moms come out and they're like, this is a magic detangler. My child did not cry when I
good.
used it on the hair. So we've had very awesome feedback. So it's a major awesome hydrating agent
that is
for
good.
the line.
I like the point that you
Yeah.
made about it has less ingredients, and if it has so many, it's like,
Right.
what is in there?
Yes, yes.
Let's talk about the shampoo, because what I noticed, the
Right.
3-in-1 conditioning shampoo.
Yes,
Sometimes people really don't like a conditioner and a shampoo together.
right.
What makes yours different?
The reason we made this 3-in-1 conditioning shampoo, and it's non-foaming,
Okay.
and the reason behind it is because, for example, I'm busy. I'm sure you're very
Yeah,
busy, right?
yeah,
With
totally.
everything that you
Totally.
do. And I just don't like spending way too much time on my hair. I don't have the time I had when I was a teenager. So the 3-in-1 conditioning shampoo helps you cleanse your hair.
Okay.
It's almost like a co-wash, because it really is gentle.
Okay.
Unless you empty the whole bottle on your hair, then you have way too much cleanser in it. But it really helps you to cleanse your hair, but at the same time it has oils.
Okay.
So that it's not only cleansing, but it's nourishing. It's restoring some of the oils that you might be washing away
Yeah.
by cleaning it.
Okay.
And really that's what it was made for, is so that when you wash your hair, you don't have to go through the extra conditioning step unless that day you really just want to do a deep conditioning, at which point you can do it.
Okay.
But I use this religiously with hardly any deep conditioning, and it works very well. Yeah.
What is a couple of the main ingredients in the 3-in-1 shampoo that would stick out to a person, like some of the ingredients? What are some of the great ingredients you would say?
Yeah, a great ingredient I would mention is the aloe vera. That's in the line. The entire line is an aloe vera line.
Is. Okay.
That's a base ingredient. And aloe vera is rich in all sorts of vitamins. My
very
goodness.
good.
Yeah, A, C, E, B, everything, and magnesium, selenium, calcium. It has so much that really is good for your hair, very good for your scalp, very good for your follicles. The other ingredient in it is sunflower lecithin. So sunflower lecithin is derived from the sunflower seed, and it is very rich in even B vitamins. It's a lipid that is very moisturizing, and it's great for the scalp, it's great for the hair. And a lot of people who use the shampoo who might have itching and flaking might come back and start saying, you know, it's actually strengthening my hair, it's helping me not itch and flake, and it's because it's hydrating, it's nourishing, and it's also really adding back some of the oils and lipids in your scalp. So those are two main ingredients we have in it. We also have lavender essential oil.
That I do love.
Yeah, and we have jojoba. And you'd think, why would you put jojoba in a product and then wash it away?
Right.
But your sebum, the sebum that you produce, the oil that your scalp produces, is very similar in molecular structure to jojoba oil. So you are, really helping your hair by using jojoba oil as well.
Now, the shampoo in general, as well as the moisturizer, could someone who has fine hair use the shampoo and the moisturizer on a day-to-day basis?
Yes.
Okay.
Define maybe fine for me, just to make sure that.
Maybe like someone who may be European or Hispanic, someone who might be a mixed child. A lot of times we get a lot of children who have a mixed background, and so they're looking for a natural shampoo, and a lot of times they come back and they go, this was either too oily or it was too dry.
Yes.
Would this be a fit for those folks?
We have tested this across the board, from Indian type hair to Caucasian hair to folks of mixed heritage, children, as well as just folks with just softer and curlier, silkier hair, as I call it.
Right.
And it works really well across the board. And what we've done, like you mentioned, with our testimonials and some of the folks who have reviewed the product for us, we have tried to look at a spectrum of hair types. And if one were to go to our YouTube channel, we have, I think, a bunch of reviews from people with fine hair types, if I would use that.
Yes, and that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yes.
Because people tend to want a product that's going to float across the entire board.
Yes.
And I think because we get so many people who come in that has that background, we always want to know what we can sell to specific individuals.
Yes.
So as far as your moisturizer,
Right.
let's talk about the styling moisturizer.
Right.
And what is the benefits of your styling moisturizer?
So the styling moisturizer is interesting. It's an oil-based moisturizer. And what's really interesting about it is that people have come back to us and said, this is helping my hair grow.
Wow.
This has stopped my itching and flaking. And we haven't yet done clinical studies to prove it. That's part of my vision for this, is to do some clinical studies that will allow us to claim that on our label, because the FDA cannot allow us to do that unless we do that.
I see.
Again, that's my pharmaceutical training.
Yeah. I was going to FDA. I got you.
Yes. But basically, the styling moisturizer has got aloe vera, it has got palm oil, sustainably sourced, because palm oil can be very destructive. The way it's harvested can be destructive to the environment. So we are also very environmentally conscious and want to make sure that the ingredients we use are also preserving to our environment. So, and then we also have jojoba oil, which again is similar to the sebum we produce. So it has a lot of nourishing, rich ingredients that go in, nourish your follicle, hydrate your hair as well, and as well as deliver the oils that the hair needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you use the styling moisturizer together with the rehydrating mist and detangler,
Okay.
it really softens the hair and makes it a lot easier to manage.
When you're using both together.
When you use both together.
Okay.
And it actually, if you think of the lock method, I think I'm just trying to use words that I used very commonly
Okay.
on social media, where you are locking in the moisture in your hair. The two of them, so the rehydrating mist will deliver some of that moisture that you need, the
Okay.
lasting moisture,
Right.
and the styling moisturizer will deliver nourishment, but also conceal that moisture further for you.
And that's a really good point. And folks, again, Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies, we pride ourselves on ensuring that you understand what moisturizer means and what oil means. They are two different things. They are not one. We get many people who come in and says, I need a moisturizer, and they're picking up the oil or they're picking up something else. And it's very important for you to understand that one has to survive with the other. It's very important for both the hair. For me, oil and a moisturizer is key for locks. So really, folks, to remember this, these two products, your moisturizer and your oil, is very important and essential for the hair.
Right.
Let's go into the curl defining gel.
Yes.
All right.
And actually, before I go into the curl defining gel, oily hair is not moisturized hair, and I'm sure you know that.
That is correct.
A lot of people kind of get that mixed up.
That's right. That is right.
Yeah, with that. So okay, great. So on to the curl defining gel. We actually have the gel and we
Okay.
have a cream right now.
That is right.
Yes?
That's right.
But it's two of the same product.
Okay.
The base of it all is that it has a gelling agent, and the way the gel works is that it enables your coils to kind of glue together. If you may let me use the word glue, but don't think about it sticking.
Okay.
But it just brings your strands together so that you can define your curl, so that your curl can be more viewable. For example, I have a small curl. It's not
It's
very
a beautiful
big.
curl pattern.
Thank
I don't
you.
think people can see that, but it's a wonderful curl pattern because it looks like it's looked like you braided your hair
And then
let it
unraveled
Yes,
it.
and it's not, is what
No,
you're
it's
saying.
not. This is a wash and go
beautiful.
type curl. Yeah. And it just helps bring in like 15 strands of hair together, and that way when they all come together you can actually see the curl pattern. Because what happens with our type of hair is that if you have an afro, you know how
Yes.
afros look, I mean they're
Yes.
beautiful, but they are diffusing light back. So the light hits them, but every strand is diffusing the light back, and that's why you don't see the curl pattern as well. But the gel brings it all together.
Wonderful.
Yeah, what we've done with the products also is we've used black Jamaican or Jamaican black castor oil.
Okay.
Again, that's known to be very nourishing for the
Okay.
hair. And we have some of it in the gel. We have like argan oil. We have jojoba oil, which you can see is a staple
Okay.
pretty much across the line.
Nice.
So the gel will moisturize your hair. A lot of people call us and they're like, oh, well, we don't want the gel because the gel will
Because they're
dry
thinking
my hair.
Right, they're thinking
Exactly.
typical gel products
Yes,
are
yes.
very drying.
They're
Lots
very
of alcohol.
drying, yeah, with a lot of alcohol.
lot of alcohol,
Yes, so we
yeah.
have no drying alcohols in our product line. And so the gel will help you achieve, for example, a laid down style.
Okay.
It may not work the same as a very strong, mainstream gel that
course.
will dry your hair out.
Yeah.
But it will. A lot of people come back and say, my hair actually laid, and it looked nice, and it was still soft and moisturized.
Wow.
So that's the goal with our entire product line.
Okay.
It's meant to deliver moisture and it's meant to sustain it, even our curl defining products.
That's great. And the question still remains where the curl defining gel, could that still be used on, say, maybe a child that has finer hair, maybe have a mixed texture of hair?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It works very well across the board. So
Okay.
I find that if you have very tight coils, my daughter, I've tested it on her hair, and
Okay.
I'm yet to break through how to make her hair type truly express the curl.
Yes.
Unless maybe one uses a really strong gel,
Okay.
one may not see the full curl pattern in her hair type.
Okay.
But she's young, so we I'm still gonna work with her, and we'll figure this out. We'll break through.
We'll break through.
But what I tell people with very coily hair is use our gels or curl defining product to do twist outs,
Okay.
to do Bantu knot outs.
Okay.
Like my daughter's hair will do the best twist outs, the best Bantu knot outs. You'll have the body, you'll have the definition. And then the gel just kind of helps hold it together
I gotcha.
without it being becoming hard,
Yeah, yeah.
and breaking off. And then as you go to the finer hair types, okay, so you go to maybe my type of hair that's kind of in between. I have got maybe 2-3 hair types on my head. And it just helps. You can do the wash and goes if you want, but you can also do some of the twist outs as well.
Nice.
And then with the finer hair, you can just put the gel on and then diffuse the hair. And then it really brings out the curls.
I love that. No, and I guess the question still remains for you.
Yeah.
Where does Naturaz see themselves in, say, not even 10 years, say 5 years? Where do you see Naturaz?
In 5 years, I'm hoping and envisioning Naturaz being in as many households as possible in the United States. We are at a point of growth, and we are hoping we can really break into where a lot more people are getting a chance to use a product like this.
Sure.
And the reason I say this is because people are having to go and look at labels because companies have just refused
Yeah.
to be responsible
Absolutely.
about what we are
Absolutely.
selling to
It's
people,
true.
right?
It's true.
And I believe we need to start building this culture where people feel more trust for companies that are producing skincare products,
Yes.
hair
Yes.
care products. And even though you look at the label, you still know in the back of your mind that, you know what, Naturaz has my back.
That's right.
So in 5 years, I do want to see this product in as many households as possible. And hopefully through a lot of Black-owned stores,
Yes.
which I'm hoping
Yes.
we'll get some very good penetration because of the passion we have behind this and what we are doing. The other thing is, in 5 years, I'm so passionate about research and development. I think it's because my background is in science.
Yes, yes.
My background is also in health. When I did nuclear medicine, one of my roles was to work in a clinic, and we worked with doctors doing diagnostics. But I saw all sorts of health problems.
Right.
And then fast forward to people talking about things like fibroids.
Yes.
And things like that.
Yes.
And we know that there's a study that was done, I believe it was in Boston University, that showed a correlation between the growth of fibroids and the use of
Products.
the
Absolutely.
sodium hydroxide.
That is
right?
correct. That is correct.
So that they collected evidence, and I think a lot more would have to be collected, but we do know that there's a lot of products out there that disrupt estrogen
Yes.
in our body.
That is correct.
And estrogen feeds fibroids. It feeds breast cancer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So companies need to be more responsible about what we are doing.
Yes.
As well as companies that are producing, for example, preservation systems
Yes.
that we use in products that go on a shelf,
Right.
So I want to really delve deeper into research in that area, but I also believe that we are at the tip of the iceberg. I believe we have good products that have been produced now for hair, but I believe that this coily hair type, we have not cracked it fully yet.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
We haven't. We need to dig into the research, and
I
I'm
agree.
I'm so passionate about this. I want to raise the money that can get me going on this quickly, because I think that breakthroughs are coming.
Sure.
And I hope to be part of that.
I really hope that you are, and I'm sure you will be. And
Thank
I think we do have a long way to go, but I think
Right.
we are breaking ground.
Yes.
On a lot of levels.
Yes.
And again, folks, we always say here at Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies that one of the reasons we do what we do is because we understand what is going on out there.
Right.
And honestly, to your point that you made, and I'm glad you brought this up, I do believe it is the responsibility of the companies to provide great products, but I think because they're so involved and heavily and thrusted in making money, they're not considering
Right.
the health of the
Right.
people. And I think that's
Yes.
what we're seeing in this country in particular. Everyone wants to make a dollar. They want to
Yes.
skip as much health, safeguarding health
right.
as their number one priority just to
Yes.
make a dollar. And
Yes.
that is what's sad.
Yes.
But I appreciate you coming by, Mumbi.
I'm so glad I got to come by.
I do want people to know how to reach you. How do they reach you outside of coming here to Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies? How could they also get your products and so forth?
Right. You can definitely reach us at customer service at naturaz.com.
Okay.
Or at naturaz.com, which is the website, and you can get to learn more about our products. We have some more descriptions of the products there, but if you're in New Jersey and in the area, hit us up here.
Hit us up at Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies.
Exactly, Paris Hair and Beauty
Yes.
Supplies. And the reason why I also say that, it's so great to be carried by a Black-owned store.
Yes.
The reason is because we understand our hair, we understand the
Yes,
plight.
we do. Yes,
And when someone comes into the store, you can explain things a little bit more.
that is correct.
Yeah, when people go into a retail environment, the big box retail,
Yeah.
and I'm not bad mouthing any
No,
of
no, no,
them.
understandable.
They have their place,
Yeah,
right?
they stick your product in and no one's talking to
and
them.
no one's able to talk
Yes,
to you. So
yes.
you know, people struggle with, okay, which one do I try? I'm gonna try
It's
this.
true, it's
and
true.
that's why so many Black women have, like, how many products in their cabinets?
Loads of them.
Like loads of them,
and
which is
really don't know what to
ridiculous.
do. And that
Yeah.
is one of the reasons of doing these interviews.
Yes.
So that you can explain your product line. How does it benefit? What does it do? Who can use them? People are not given that education, and we're
Yes,
just happy
yes.
that we had you here to provide that for us as in regards to Naturaz. And we want to see you grow. We are
you.
here for you. Both my husband and I, we pride ourselves on this business because
Right.
of what we are doing for other entrepreneurs, and we're excited for you. We're excited what's to come.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
I was honored to come and be here, meet
you.
you and your husband,
Yes.
Drew, and I hope we'll be doing business for a long time to come.
We sure will, because I'm heading to Kenya.
Yay! Awesome.
But thank you so much, folks, for joining us. And my name is Donna Jarrett Paris, CEO and co-owner of Paris Hair and Beauty Supplies, and we are going to say good night to you. Thank you so much for joining us. All right.